In our last video about dispatch groups, we have discussed that what we can do with the dispatch groups, which is a mechanism in Swift that allows you to group multiple tasks or operations and get notified when they all finish. That means if you have multiple asynchronous operations and if you want to do something after all the operations are completed, we use dispatch groups. Why? Because dispatch group is having a functionality called notification. That means it can notify when all those are completed. For example, if you have a series of asynchronous operations. So how we have done that is using we have taken a dispatch group, we have taken a dispatch queue, and in that queue we have added a couple of asynchronous operations. So whenever you are doing an asynchronous operation, we need to enter into the group and we need to leave the group. And so once all are notified, I think you can wait, or you can notify and don't stop the execution also. You can notify, and here you don't need to stop the execution of the program, and you can stop the execution of the program also once you, if you want all the synchronous operations to be completed, and after that only you want to execute the rest of the program. Dispatch group is having wait as well, notify. It doesn't stop the execution. So this is what we discussed. See if you can see. So it fetched favorites, it fetched shopping cart items, it fetched user orders, and after that is it executed this and it executed this, and after that the notification got executed. If you can see this got executed at the last because it's a wait. So that's basically what is dispatch group is. So why I am discussing dispatch group again in this is here we can also do dispatch groups not only on the single queue. Here we have taken it as it in only a single group, but this can be done in multiple queues as well. So actually in Swift programming, dispatch group it's a way to organize and synchronize multiple tasks that are executed asynchronously on a single queue or on different queues also. So in this video, let's see how can we do that on different queues before we jump into dispatch work item. Okay, so it's let's see how this can be achieved if we have pretty much multiple queues. So let me take a dispatch group here. We'll quickly finish it. We'll jump into dispatch work item. Dispatch queue, where I would end up with some, let's say, same queue. So how I can do this is on Q1 I need an asynchronous operation, whereas to that queue I can give a group also. Q1 dot asynchronous group. Here instead of dispatch work item, I can give the queue and I can dispatch group is, this is the dispatch group. Okay, this Q1's asynchronous operation, I'm adding it to the just a second, it's giving me some warnings. Okay, so let me add some asynchronous, which is sleep we generally use. For example, this Q1 operation is Q1 task is completed. Q1 task is completed. Now instead of on the same queue, for example, we have another queue, let's say. So I would take another queue. Here I'll name it as some ABB, and it is also having an asynchronous operation. For example, let me copy paste it for you to save some time. It is also an asynchronous operation, and we can save here Q2 asynchronous operation is also completed. So that's what I want to mention. So to a queue, if it is having an asynchronous operation, but it wants to get it notified once this operation is completed. In fact, in all the groups, for example, this group can have an asynchronous operation that are performing in a different queues actually, and once all the tasks are done which are getting run in different just a second, I don't know why it is. Let me quit my Xcode and come back. Just a second. Okay, now I get it. It's queue group. That's what the mistake I am doing. So I can notify on, generally we do it on main thread. For example, if you want to run it, and what I want to do is simply print saying all the tasks in all the groups are correct. That's what we have done. All the tasks in all the groups are completed, correct. So if I execute it, as you can see, you should be getting Q1 task is completed, and these are earlier. So Q2 is completed, Q1 is completed, all the tasks is completed. So pretty much what I wanted. And of course you can, if you want to stop the execution instead of this, you can write wait also, but we just want to notify. So here what I want to stress is, see, earlier we have discussed it on only single queue. Now it is like on multiple queues. For example, Q1, Q2, like this, so many queues we can give it and add all the operations. And in group you can mention it as this is the group. So pretty much whatever I am adding to this group, whatever may be the queue, if all the operations are done or completed on this group, I want to be notified. So this can also be done in the using the dispatch groups. Okay, now let's jump into dispatch work item. In Swift programming, dispatch work item is a class that represents a work item that can be submitted to a dispatch queue for execution. So the main purpose of dispatch work item is, for example, in case of dispatch groups, we give asynchronous operations to queues like this. In the dispatch group, we don't have an option to encapsulate, whereas in dispatch work item, encapsulation is possible. That means dispatch work item encapsulates a block of code that can be executed asynchronously, and it also provides some additional functionalities such as setting the priority level of a task, cancelling and modifying, and same like dispatch group we have wait and notify. So let's discuss these items one by one. So coming to wait and notify, how can we do that in using dispatch work item? So let me first take a work item, how to just create a dispatch work item. This is how we can, so it's an asynchronous operation you can do, and after that we can print something saying this is what encapsulation, encapsulated async op is done. Okay, sorry, async operation is done. So how to execute it? So you can execute it on any queue. Usually what we do is dispatch queue dot global dot x. This is an asynchronous operation. We can write like this. See, async. See, this is not encapsulated here, you can see, but if you want to encapsulate, what I would do is I would do like this, dispatch work item. Now this queue doesn't know what I'm giving it to it, whereas earlier how we use it to give it global dot asynchronous. So there is no encapsulation here, but here there is an encapsulation, as you can see, correct. Work item, this is the work item. Okay, so that's basically the difference. And once it is completed, it is having so one thing is encapsulation, which we have discussed it. Next, notify. For example, if this work item is completed, you don't need to create a dispatch work group here. What you can do is work item, when it is completed, boss, notify me, so that same dispatch notify me, so that I want to do something else. So here I don't need again a dispatch work item. Of course, if I want, I can give it for encapsulation, but here I would print like grouping is so work is completed. Okay, so it is having encapsulation, it is having notify, wait, we will discuss in a while. So if I execute it, encapsulated async operation is done. Once you are done, you are successfully able to notify to the program saying work is completed. So notification we have discussed, and we can comment it. And for example, if I want to wait work item dot boss you hold, and after that if I write something after that, if for example if I am doing some else operation, global dot async operation, if I need to execute, so what we discussed, for example, if this notification is not there, we are just waiting it, this should not get executed, correct? I have waited for the work item, it is waiting for the work item to be completed. Why? Because you have put on a wait here, correct? So if I execute it, it waits for this. First it has to be completed, then only it will be. Why? Because you are asking to stop the execution of the program, same like dispatch group. So we discussed encapsulation, we are able to encapsulate it, we discussed wait, we discussed notify. Now let's see how can I give the priority level. Okay, so we have different priority levels in priority levels. Basically, if you are doing some background, if you are doing pretty much some asynchronous operation, correct, we have like user interactive, user initiated, utility, and background. So if you want me to just write it, we have, this is of very high user initiated, very high priority. We have user interactive, sorry, user interactive is of very high priority actually. Okay, we have user interactive, user initiated, this takes high preference, and utility, and after that the least preference is background. So how to set the priority items for a dispatch dispatch work items? Okay, so how can we give the priority? Now to do that, to make sure that they are all working based on the priority that we are setting, we need to take a synchronous queue that we will discuss. So what here we are going to do is, I'm going to create couple of dispatch work items which is having a property called setting the quality of service, and after that you can execute your block also. So sorry, it's having block, so here I need to sorry, just a second. I don't know why it is taking, but why it is not taking, but I can give it like user interactive high priority, and I can make it an asynchronous operation. So here I would print like user interactive is completed. So I'm gonna copy paste 1 2, and this is going to be the next priority, which is user initiated, yeah, and this is work item 2, sleep same, and user initiated is completed. Next one is work item 3, and this is utility, and utility is completed, correct? Now I need to take a serial queue to make sure that of course I need to take a serial queue to make sure that everything is going as per the priority, correct? I need to make sure that everything is going as per priority. So what I need to do, I need to take a serial queue, sorry, let work item queue, I'll take it, and dispatch queue label, let me give something. If I'm not giving attribute as concurrent, means it's a serial queue. Now I would add it work item dot async, and if I give execute work item 1, okay. So mainly I would give work item 2, work item 3. I have added serially all the work items based on the priority. This is of highest priority, this is of second highest priority, this is of third highest priority. I have taken a serial queue, this is a serial queue. And so as we are interested more on this, let's comment this piece of code. So we are working on the priority level. So this is how I can give the priority level to my dispatch work item. It is having a quality of service option. This is not available in dispatch group for your information. Okay, in dispatch work item, this is the extra feature that it is having. So if I try to execute it, my user interactive should be executed first, my user initiative should be executed first, and after that my utility should be executed last, based on the priority. Correct? Excellent. Pretty much priority also we are able to set to the dispatch work item. Very good. It can do encapsulation, it can wait, it can notify, it can set a priority level. Now let's discuss cancel. Unlike if it is an asynchronous operation, it's hard to cancel it. We need to go for operation queues and operations to cancel this. Dispatch group being a low level API on top of which operation queues are actually got built. So what we need to do is we need to use the dispatch work item is having an option to cancel the stuff. Let's see how we can do it. For example, so let me get rid of this also. Why? Because we already discussed it. I'm going to the bottom again. Let me create a work item, which is dispatch work item, and create something sleep 4, which is an asynchronous operation. So work item is completed. Now dispatch, now I need to execute it. Now I take a queue global dot async. No, I want to encapsulate it, so I would go with execute. I want to execute this work item. So what I will do is, just to show you, I will cancel it. Okay, and I am going to check and okay, we're able to cancel it. How can I check? This is how I can check. Why? Because you don't need to cancel an item again and again. Why? Because once a work item is cancelled, that's it. Again you need to assign another block of code to it to get it executed. The same block will not get executed again. So here I can say like print got cancelled. Okay, if I execute it, got cancelled happens because this got cancelled. If I don't execute this, if I run this, it takes 4 seconds, but as we are not cancelling it, it will not go with the work item is completed. So that's how I'm just saying this. But in our use cases, generally we to a dispatch group, if you are giving couple of dispatch work items, for example, at some point of time we decide to cancel those work items if they are not already cancelled. For example, internet is gone, or user went to background, you want to cancel all the items. Why? Because it's a waste of internet, it's a waste of bandwidth or waste of time. So that time we can take a decision and cancel that particular encapsulated piece of code. So that's how it is useful, and this is how we can know whether a dispatch work item is cancelled or not. So this is the extra feature that it is having compared with the dispatch group. So cancel also we have discussed. Very good. Now it is having a beautiful feature called modify also. So let's see how I can create a dispatch work item and successfully able to modify it. So for example, let's take this same piece of code. So I'm not going to cancel it. For example, this is my work item. So I have asked it to be executed. Now we need to understand one thing is, it is important to note that modifying a work item does not affect any work items that have already been submitted to a dispatch queue. So that means, what does it mean? Let's see. For example, the same work item, let's say the same work item, this is how I can modify. Correct? Dispatch work item. Now I will give some other block of code to it, which is asynchronous operation. Now I would print like Oh, it's a let constant, sorry. If you are modifying, it should be a var. Now print work item is cancelled, modified and completed finally. That means let me cancel it also for you. Why? Because once it is cancelled, it will not get executed. Modified and completed finally. So dispatch q dot global dot async. No, I'm on encapsulation. I'm liking this. Yes, async. I'm going to execute this work item. So technically here what I want to show you is I am going to show you the cancel and modify operation. This is modify sorry, this is modify operation and this is cancel operation. Okay, both the features I'm going to show it in a single example. So but we need to note that modifying a work item does not affect any work items that have already been submitted to a dispatch queue. If you need to modify a work item that has already been scheduled for execution, you will need to cancel the original work item. You will need to cancel the original work item and create a new one with updated closure. Okay, that's how. Let's see. Let's print it and see. For example, let me not cancel it first. Let's see what happens. First I have given it for execution, which is of sleep 4, and I modified it and I have given it for execution. Okay, let's run it and see what happens. Work item is completed. That's it. So this is not getting executed. Why? Because when you if you need to modify a work item that has already been scheduled, if you need to modify a work item that has already been scheduled for execution, you will need to cancel. That is the point I wanted to stress. You will need to cancel the original work item and create a new one with the updated closure and again submit it. Okay, so you run it. Now you should be seeing this should get cancelled and this should get executed. So let me run it again. It's running or not? Just a second. What happened? Just a second, sorry. Okay, let me, so we're here cancelling, modifying, and if I run it, sorry, it's executing everything, but I want to execute only till here. So I don't want this to be executed. I want this to be executed. Why? Because this is how I modified it. Work item is cancelled, modified and completed finally. Work item is cancelled, modified and completed finally. Okay, to modify it, if you have already given it for execution, boss, you need to cancel it and then only you can modify it. If you have not given it for execution, of course you don't need to cancel it. Of course you can modify it and execute it. Okay, that's basically how dispatch work item works. It's you'll be having more control on what you are executing, such as you can set up a priority level, you can cancel it before it happens, before it completes, and you can modify it by first cancelling it. And also it can also be used with the dispatch group to group multiple work items and wait for them off to complete. So there are basically more features that are added in the dispatch work item. So let's we have discussed dispatch groups and dispatch work items. Now let's basically discuss what both are having in common and what dispatch work item is having specially. So let's discuss that. So to summarize, dispatch groups we discussed, dispatch work items we discussed. So just to summarize what they are having in common, what they're having, what dispatch work item is having separately. First thing is grouping tasks. correct? So dispatch groups allows you to grouping multiple tasks. Of course you can wait and notify, whereas dispatch work item is a single task that can be executed asynchronously. So that's the difference when it comes to grouping of tasks. Next thing is waiting for completion. Of course both are having both a dispatch group is having wait method and can be used to block the current thread until all tasks are completed, the same as a dispatch work item is having a wait method using which that single particular dispatch work item can be can stop the current thread. Okay, now cancellation, of course dispatch group is not having it, only dispatch work item is having it, correct? Dispatch group is not having any built-in cancellation mechanism. So the third one is also mainly priority levels. And dispatch work item allows the quality of service we can set it, while dispatch group does not provide any built-in mechanism for setting priority levels, correct? So these are pretty much the differentiations between dispatch groups and dispatch work items. I hope this post is useful. Thank you.